Chun, and then we'll turn it open to questions in the room, followed by questions on the phone. So go ahead and get us started, Pat.
Good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, we would like to thank Mike Leach for the past 8 years at Washington State. Coach Leach is an expert coach, a good person, a brilliant mind, and it's been a joy to work with him these past 2 years. Mike and Sharon will be lifelong friends to me and Natalie. We're happy they can get closer to their grandkids, and we will cheer for their success at Mississippi State. While he was here, Coach Leach transformed Washington State football by setting a new standard. We've achieved academically. Our graduation rates and grade point average has soared under his leadership. 5 consecutive bowl games is a testament to the sustainable model he built here at Washington State. It is our belief going forward that all the ingredients we need to perennially contend for a Pac-12 championship are present here in Pullman today. We believe the 2020 team is as talented as a team that we've had at Washington State. This, combined with our leadership from President Schultz, the commitment we've made with our facilities, the passion of Cougs all around the world, that will allow us to recruit the best head coach possible for Washington State. We owe it to our 2020 team and our recruiting class to find the best head coach possible. We'll work until we find the right person. Until the conclusion of our search, the only public comments regarding our search will be made today. I will pause here and take a few questions.
When did you find out about the Mississippi State opportunity? Was Coach Leach keeping you in the loop the whole time?
Yeah, Mike has always been great about open lines of communication. I think everyone knows him in the room. I mean, he's an open book. So there's never been anything that's popped up that we had not talked about. We'd actually talked a couple of days ago, and then a couple of days ago, I guess I left that conversation feeling we were in good shape, and my assumption is something changed in the last 24 hours. And he called me this morning and said he accepted the job. So it was a bittersweet phone call. I've enjoyed working with Mike. Happy that he's able to take his career in a direction he wants to go to. But he called me this morning to let me know.
In your search for a new head coach, I mean, do you go after an offensive coach because you have that personnel here? Does that weigh into your decision making at all, or are you just going to try to find the best guy available?
Best coach possible. Yeah, we don't want to put any type of parameters on what we're going to try to do. I think what's worked best for us. I mean, there is a reality here at Washington State. If you can go find the right coach, and history shows that, whether it's Mike Leach, Mike Price, Tony Bennett, George Raveling, if you got to go find the right coach that can win at Washington State. So we're going to go find the best coach possible for us.
How have the players reacted? Have they? How did they find out about this? Did Coach talk to them?
Well, everything. We're still on break, so no one's back at school yet. So my assumption is it probably broke on social media, and we know young people are attached to their phones. We sent out a group message, or I did, to our team, just letting them know that it is true what they read, and I'll be in touch with them when they're back on campus next week.
And then, for lack of a better way to ask it, who's in charge of the football team right now? Are any coaches taking over as kind of interim head coach?
We'll go through the next 24 hours. My assumption is some of our staff will go with Coach Leach. It's a good group. It's a great group of people there. So we got to see how the dust settles. But we're gonna move and get going with our. I mean, we're already moving basically.
Pat, in December you announced that in principle. Leach had agreed to extending his rollout. He says he doesn't need to sign something like that. Does any of that play into what you can expect now contractually?
In terms of going forward with a new coach, or
with compensation for Leach in Mississippi State?
Meaning what is owed to us? Oh yeah, I mean yes. That's all already been predetermined in his contract, in terms of a buyout toward us. Okay. Yes.
So in other words,
we didn't change any of the terms of his buyout.
Okay, yeah. So he is
correct.
Signed through 2024, committed through.
Well, and there's a buyout piece to break the contract, which he'll be obligated to pay.
What is your ideal timeline for hiring a new head coach?
Not to be vague or flippant, but it'll take however long it needs to take. So we'll work fast. however long it takes to get the right person in Washington State is how long it'll take.
You have a list already?
It's just the goal is to find the best coach possible.
You've hired a football head coach before in Lane Kiffin. Just what did you learn from that experience?
The goal there too is just find the best coach that fits that institution at that given time, based on what's there and what's available. So, like I said, I believe. Coach Leach has left us in great shape. This is a program based on what he took over and what's here now. This is not a rebuild anymore at Washington State. This is we need to go find the right person that's going to add to this program. So you look at the commitment that's been made in facilities. We've been actively fundraising for an indoor practice field, so that will happen in due time. But we are actively fundraising for that. You look at the recruiting class. Obviously, the most important position that the experts say on a field is the quarterback position, and this is a room stocked with quarterbacks right now. So we believe where we're at, we're poised to continue to build Washington State football. We got to go find the right person that can help us in that direction.
You talk about the right person. Is there something you're looking for specifically that makes them the right person? And has that answer maybe changed over the last few years because of the success here?
Fit does matter, but I'd also argue fit by definition. If you look at two of the most successful people that have been here in my 2 years, one's from Cody, Wyoming, and the other's from Brandon, Mississippi. So fit does matter. It's got to be seamless to be a part of it. But I feel great about the coaches we've added here. I've learned a lot about Washington State in my brief time here. I think all the personnel we've added over the last couple of years fits Washington State great. I think that's why we've been able to do some really great things as an athletic department. And this is obviously there's no more important hire for an institution than the head football coach, and we're going to make sure we get this right.
Pat, it sounds like you don't want to hem yourself in, but hypothetically, if your football program has a highly specialized offense, does that give a person a little bit more incentive to kind of stay within that philosophy offensively?
Well, it's not a hypothetical. we have operated a highly specialized offense here the last couple of years, but that's why this is a huge opportunity for some coach out there because of what's in place. Ultimately, I'm not an NFL expert. I think Anthony Gordon's going to be our third consecutive quarterback drafted in the NFL draft. That's significant when you're talking about a football program. We got a quarterback room right now where we think there's some young men in there that have NFL aspirations, have NFL DNA, and can lead. So it's trying to find the right coach that can take all the ingredients in place and put us in a position to contend for the Pac-12 championship like we've been the last couple of years. So it's just, I think what you're asking, it's just another element in place that adds all to the overall portfolio. This is a very different job than what Mike Leach took over 8 years ago. We're at, I think, over 91, 92% renewal rates for season tickets last year. Those are our community has responded to winning football here and winning the right way. So it's we just got to go find the right coach that can add to this.
When you take a look around the Pac-12, there's a lot of high-profile names throughout the conference. Do you think that maybe somebody as high-profile as you've seen around the Pac-12 would be welcoming to coming to Pullman?
I think this is one of the best jobs in college football, and what Mike Leach has left us, and the commitment from our president and from every Coug around the country to make sure that we sustain this model. So. And our value, when you look at the whole total package relative to the league, what we have in place, we'll get the right person. Profile, what their profile is, that's irrelevant to me. We just got to go find the right person to lead us.
Let's go to the phone line for a couple of questions. Any questions on the phone line for Pat Chun?
Pat, what is the amount of the buyout that Washington State is due?
I think, is it 2.25 million.
And then how involved will Kirk Scholes be with you in choosing the next head coach?
He's the president of our institution, so he'll have the final say. I'll make a recommendation to Kirk. We've been obviously Kirk and I are always in constant communication, but we're fortunate to have his leadership. I think one of the great assets we have here is Kirk Schultz. He's highly respected in college athletics, and really in recruiting some of our coaches that we've brought here, Kirk has been as big a part of that recruitment process because of his reputation in college athletics. I would argue that leadership is critical when you're talking about building any type of program. And when you start with a leader like Kirk, that gives us a realistic shot to really get the right person for this job.
And Pat, you said that you had already reached out to the players on the team. Have you also already reached out to the signees who came on board on December 18th?
I'll communicate directly with them in due time. Today, just with the timeliness, the priority was really getting connected with the team, although with them not being here, it created a little bit of a challenge, and then obviously just getting everything else in order to get us moving forward. But I will communicate directly with them.
I'm sorry. And then last question for you. I know that you said the most important thing is to get it right. And the timeline is when we get the guy, we get the guy. Is there any sense of urgency with the transfer portal now, and student athletes can go into it, and the signees sometimes ask to be released from the letters of intent and stuff? Do you feel any urgency as far as timeliness in getting the hire done?
Well, I think getting the right person mitigates all those other variables you talked about, because if we get the right person, or when we get the right person, a lot of that will be addressed.
Thank you.
Other questions on the phone line for Pat Chun? Okay, and back in the room?
Were you looking at anyone with the other coaching vacancies on the team, and has that plan now shifted now that Leach has departed?
Meaning,
as far as we had an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator step down earlier this year, and stuff like that.
So whether there can't,
was there anyone that was being looked at, and has those plans changed?
We're just looking for the best coach possible. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it.
Did you have to what degree did you have a contingency plan for this offseason and previous off seasons, just in case Coach Leach were to take a job somewhere else?
I think one of the great blessings of having a successful head football coach is the market is in their favor. So based on the need for winning football coaches, the assumption is really I kind of lived with the attitude it's only a matter of time, because if the right opportunity came, why wouldn't Mike take it? So he had done such a great job here. He earned the right to dictate what the next chapter of his career is going to be. So we're as ready as you can be. The hope was this day wasn't going to come, but we always need to prepare that if it was coming. So we're ready, and we'll go and we'll get the right person here.
And then are there specific advantages, being that I think all but 2 college football teams are done playing? Does that make things easier for you? Does that make things harder for you to select a coach?
We'll find out. No matter what time of year, I mean, you got to get this thing right. So whether you're competing, I would say relative to what we've done in some past searches, we consciously try to beat the market on things. So that and I think that worked in our favor here. That variable probably isn't as active right now because I think there's only one other Power 5 job open in Baylor right now. So that probably isn't going to be a factor that won't factor in the pace in which we move. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to get this done at an appropriate pace.
Do you see any irony in now Coach Kiffin and Coach Leach are now in the same state?
That's going to be a lot. It's going to be great for the media there. It's two great coaches, and it's I'm happy for both of them. I think both of them are going to do great jobs for their respective institutions, and I'll be an active viewer of the Egg Bowl now when it comes on.
You talked about already being underway on this, and I know you're not going to give us names, but have you already contacted people, and have people already reached out to you that this is a job they want to take?
We're within our process. So, I mean, it's an attractive job, but we're within our process. And like I said, we'll move at the pace we need to move at. And once we get to a finish line, the whole world will know.
Any other questions for Pat? Last chance on the phone line. All right. Thank you, Pat.
All right. Thank you guys for making the drive down. Appreciate it.